Okay, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the lasso tools. The shortcut on the keyboard is L, and again Shift L to siphon through all of them. The first one is just the basic lasso tool, so you can select an area pretty quickly. I'm going to do Command D to deselect, and I want to use the Polygonal lasso tool. Okay, so the way it works is I'm just going to trace along the outer edge of this object. The magnetic lasso tool works similar. It just magnetizes to an area that you're tracing over. So it's really helpful in like really detailed areas. It can be a little frustrating to work with. So for this demo, I'm using the Polygonal. Now, if you can't find where your starting point is, see my little circle next to my lasso tool is telling me that that's the starting point and that's how I close it off. You can be near it and double click. Like I just double clicked on my mouse and it automatically found the starting point. So now we have it selected. We don't have to inverse anything because everything, the object we want is already selected. Hit my layer mask and now my background's gone. I can go in here and really clean up this area using the quick selection or the magic wand tool. For demonstration purposes, I'm not going to do that because I just want to show you how to do this. So I can move my object around. It's freestanding on its own. I'm going to convert it to black and white, which is the black and white cookie. Convert it to black and white. You can mess with all these dials to figure out the right tone that you want. And then remember, if you want to move this image into your colored image, you would have to condense the layers, because if you were to move it this way, it would make your original document black and white, which is probably not what you want. So with one layer selected, I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to click on the other layer. And then I'm going to Control, right click. I have to be clicked on one of those layers for that to happen. And I go to Merge Layers. Now I can move this to another object and it'll be black and white. Okay, I'm going to show you how to move the woman into this bunker. So I'm going to click on her, click and drag to my shelter layer, my shelter image, which is on another flyout, and then I'm going to drop her down. Command T to make her big, and I'm going to hold Shift so I can keep my proportions. And then I can rotate it by going on the outside of either of these bounding boxes. And then I can kind of place her where I want her to be, and I have to hit Enter. Now, one thing is, right now it looks like she's really floating in space. So you could use the brush tool to really brush over the area and kind of make it like a shadow. I'm going to move her down a little bit more. And in Illustrator, you're used to using your stroke and your fill. With Photoshop, it's background and foreground, so you can change your colors. Here's your brush. You can choose different brushes from the cogwheel. Basic brushes is usually what it defaults to. And a feathered brush, so it has a 0 hardness. You can change all of that. And you can change the size of your brush with the brackets to the right of the letter P. So if I'm doing this really quick, it may not, I'm doing this pretty quick so you can see, but you can change your blending modes, you can change your opacity. I don't recommend you doing 100% because then it's just like a blob of color and it doesn't look like she's blending in with the space at all. So I would stay away from 100 and start out lower. Your flow is going to be how fast it's coming out. So that may be something that you want to work with too and change that down. And the opacity might be better at like 74%. And again, you can change all these. And you can also do it on the other layer. So here it's starting to look a little bit more realistic. Granted, I'm doing this pretty quickly. I would probably lighten this area up. But this is how you would merge images together to make them look like they're one.